What's good, you guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Tasha, or TashaKushhh. Today I want to talk about the importance of knowing thyself. As corny as that sounds, listen, the world is going to shit, okay? And there's nothing but fake people out there. You were meant to watch this, so please just hear me out for a little bit, okay? What does know thyself mean? It means to know yourself, right? In a world where there's so many people that are fake, and maybe they don't mean to be fake, but they have to put on a mask to be in public, or they're just so used to being their egoic version of self, you know, like their environment had conditioned them to operate out of the egoic or the ego self. And so they're not their true self, their authentic self. And right now we need so badly people who are true to self. Be real, basically. And like I don't mean like knowing yourself, like knowing what your favorite color is, or what your favorite food is, or you know, what's your things like that. And I'm talking about the deeper stuff, next level shit. Like what makes you different from other people, the core of who you are. What makes you different? Who are you? Do you know yourself? Because it's time to know thyself. What are the foundations and the fundamentals of you? What makes you you? If you know most of this, then hey, you're on the right path. Keep watching the video though. And if you have no idea, it's all good. That's why you're watching, right? I'm just kidding. If you don't know, the fact that you're looking up or searching or trying to find answers, even though it's not within, but you're trying to find a way, or you're trying to find instructions on YouTube or Google or whatever the case, you're still on the right path. So kudos to you, more power to you. And the fact that you're watching this, hey, you're a step closer. So one of the easiest ways to get to know your true self or your authentic self is your natal chart, your birth chart, your astrological birth chart. I know there may be a lot of people out there that are, you know, skeptics when it comes to astrology and zodiacs and things of that nature, you know, thinking that they don't want an outside source to rule their life. I get that. I was the exact same until I did my research. So by now, I think we all should know that the moon controls Earth's waves and tides of the oceans and the seas, right? Up to 60% of the human body is water. So if the moon's gravitational pull is strong enough to have an effect on the oceans of the earth, wouldn't you think that it would have an effect on our bodies if we're made up of 60% water? Have you ever noticed if like during a full moon or maybe like a new moon or a certain phase of the moon, you tend to be more emotional, or maybe the opposite, like less emotional or whatever, more calm, or maybe the people around you, you've noticed a difference? We all see the size of the moon compared to the sun. I had read an article about how the sun would have like solar flares, and the waters on Earth would detect these changes before NASA would. It would take 8 minutes for NASA to detect any changes. Earth's waters, it would be like instantaneously. As soon as the sun would have a flare, the Earth's water would notice, detect it basically. If the moon has a impact on Earth's waters, and if the sun has an impact on Earth's waters, and our bodies are comprised of up to 60% of water, wouldn't you think that these celestial beings, the sun and the moon, would have some type of impact on us, maybe on a molecular level, on an energetic level? How many Earths can fit in Jupiter? According to NASA, 1,300 Earths can fit inside of Jupiter. Can you imagine that? 1,300 Earths can fit inside of Jupiter? Unfathomable. I'm gonna have to put a picture. Do you know how big Saturn is? It's not as big as Jupiter, but 700 Earths can fit inside of Saturn. If the moon and the sun has an effect on Earth and its inhabitants, these planets are in our solar system that are in the gravitational pull with, you know, the sun. You can't tell me they don't have an effect, an energetic effect on us, on Earth's inhabitants. I got goosebumps. I know the skeptics are still gonna be skeptics, but hey, look into it. Get into it, y'all. Let me shake this up a little bit. Let me give you a little something different. Let me give you a little more Beyonce or something. Hold on. You ready? I started talking about Jupiter and Saturn and I got really lit. Your birth chart, your natal chart, is basically a visual diagram of the celestial skies at the time of your birth. The time of your birth, the date, and the location. The planets were in the sky, and the sky is like divided up into, you know, 12 zodiacs and 12 houses. Each sign represents a certain energy, and then each house represents an area in the life, in your life, certain aspect in life. All of that carries a certain frequency, specific vibration, collected, imprinted on you. And so if you go look up your natal chart, and I'll post the link to a website where you can put in your information and find out your natal chart, you're gonna see how accurate that stuff is. Even though astrology is very precise and a guide for you to use, it doesn't necessarily define who you are. At the end of the day, you are the creator of your life. You control everything. You make your life. Your natal chart is perfect for if you want to see what type of careers, or if you wanted to know like your weaknesses or your strengths. Yeah, it doesn't have to define you, but it'll definitely tell you like straight up, like it can be a little rude. It can put you in your place. It's up to you to choose what you want to do with it, with that information. But be careful to not give your information to just anyone, especially your time of birth. It's okay to give your birthday, maybe your place of birth, but don't give your time of birth. Chinese people believe that you shouldn't give your time of birth to people because they can look up your birth chart and use it against you. Malicious people, malevolent people like that. I mean, if you feel like you can trust that person, sure, but it's just too much information anyways. You should keep that to yourself. And I found that the readings where I would pay like 20 bucks, I know you don't have to pay for it, okay? You can just get a free one and get just a like a general chart basically. I prefer a more personal. I can tell the difference too when it's a computer generated chart compared to personal reading, because like a personal reading you can tell it was someone that was like into astrology, was typing this stuff because there's typos. I'm a Virgo. I notice things like that. But yeah, you're more than your sun sign. You're not just a Leo. You're more than a Libra. You're more than a Sagittarius. You're more than a Cancer. You're more than Aquarius. You're more than your sun sign, okay? You have a moon sign. You have a Mercury, a rising, all of that, okay? That plays an important role in your character, your personality. Like your sun sign is your overall energy, like your soul. You know, it's the energy that emanates off of you strongly, like the sun. The moon represents your emotions. You don't really show people until nighttime, until the moon is out, whatever that means. And then like, you know, rising doesn't mean that, you know, there's a planet called rising. Rising is basically like how you appear, because you can be like a Leo but you look like a Virgo. Yeah, I mean, if y'all want a whole video about astrology and astrology 101, let me know and I'll make another video for that. But yeah, so astrology versus spirituality. Astrology is more direct and confined and like boxed, kind of like, hey, this is what it is. This is what's given to you. You were born at this time, in this location, on this day, here you go. But with spirituality, it's like, okay, this is what it is. What are you gonna do with it? You can do anything you want with it. Anything. The world is your oyster. Don't let this little map tell you what you can and cannot do for your highest good, or the highest good of the collective. Don't be afraid and don't be intimidated by what your chart says. Like if your chart says it's gonna take multiple partners for you to reach the one, don't let that stop you from really investing in the relationships that you are in now. You know, like you should definitely live life to the fullest. But yeah, so like I said, like if you're trying to find a career, or you're trying to find a certain path to go on because you're feeling lost or even depressed or having crippling anxiety because you don't know what the F to do, the natal chart will surely help you. And yeah, you'll see your strengths and your weaknesses. You can work on your weaknesses and make them your strengths. Make it work for you, boo. This is just the beginning. It's a way of looking inward. It's literally searching within to continue the development of self. So another way of knowing thyself or finding thyself is practicing stillness and meditation. I know a lot of people feel like meditation is not for them because I guess it sounds like cliche. Is that the right word? It feels corny, or maybe they're the type of person that is just too fiery and too energetic and just have too much going on to quiet their minds. We live in a day and age where everyone is just so busy. And even when you're not busy with the kids or with the dog or at work or whatever, even when you have the day off or when you don't have the kids, when you do have alone time, you still can't quite seem to slow down your thoughts. Like even your mind is still busy, right? And then when you do pick up the kids or go back to work or go back to your normal routine, you feel tired. You feel like you didn't get enough rest. That's because your mind was still going a million miles per hour, going back into the routine and not really taking the time to do the inner work of connecting with yourself, you know, like really getting to know yourself, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, things like that. You can lose yourself to taking care of your family, to your job, to social media, even, you know, the party life. It goes on and on. I can't think of it, but it goes on. Like meditation doesn't have to be like how it seems on YouTube or TV, where you sit down Indian style with your hands like this and for 30 minutes or whatever on a yoga mat. It doesn't have to be like that. I mean, that's one of the best ways, but it doesn't have to be like that. It can be for a minute. It can be just for 30 seconds. The longer the better, but there's so many different types of meditation. There's so many different types of practicing stillness. So practicing stillness and meditation is different. It's like a thin line between the two. I feel like practicing stillness is just trying to slow down the mind and trying to be more present in the moment. Now meditation is like focusing all that energy, day-to-day energy that you're putting outward, focusing that inward, focusing the energy within and letting the thoughts do what it does, you know, letting it run, but pulling your energy back to your body and doing breath work. I think there's another type of meditation where things called transcendental meditation. I think I learned this from Russell Brand. I think it's called transcendental meditation. I really need to look these up before I make these videos. But so you pick like a word, any kind of word that brings you tranquility or peace, and throughout the day just make the intention to remember the word. When you remember the word, just take a moment or two to breathe in deeply, you know, take a few breaths, try to ground your energy basically and be grateful, be in the moment. So like, let's say the word is transcendental. That was my word. When I learned about transcendental meditation, I hope that's what it's called. But that was the word that I chose. I was working in a nail salon, and throughout the day I would just transcendental. I wouldn't say it out loud because that would be crazy as hell, but in my head, and I wouldn't even say it like that in my head. It just sounded cool. But, you know, transcendental. And then I would, and just trying to be in the moment and being grateful in the moment, being aware of my surroundings, being grateful for the people that were in my surrounding, being grateful for being alive. And I would try to practice that more than once a day. Like the first few days I would do it like maybe once or twice a day, and then it became more frequent throughout the week. But I stopped that and I started really meditating. If you get into meditation, it's such a beautiful experience. Like, there's levels to that shit, okay? Like, it takes a while. Let's say, like, if you meditate, let's say once a day for a month, for 10 minutes, so you're going to see a significant change. You're going to see this change throughout every aspect of your life. Let's say 3 to 4 months in and you're meditating a little longer, okay? You get to this point where it feels like your mind, your consciousness starts to elevate. Like astral projecting, but no, I've never astral projected, but that's that's what I would think astral projecting would feel like, because it felt like my consciousness was moving out of my body. And I had to have like crystals, like my black tourmaline, like just grounding crystals, earthy stones, you know, like tiger's eye, obsidian. The first time I felt my consciousness lifting, I mean, it felt blissful. I felt like so happy, so at peace. Like I wanted to cry. Like I felt like my spirit wanted to ascend. That is the perfect word. Ascend. Transcend even. But I got scared and I opened my eyes. And then I think that was almost a year ago that happened. Whenever I opened my eyes, I remember still feeling like high, basically. Like literally feeling high, naturally high. Ooh, I got goosebumps. Do you say that? Do you say that? Yeah, so then I remember like I opened my eyes and I was like, whoa. And so then I closed my eyes and I tried to get back there, and I couldn't go there. And I would meditate, you know, again and try to reach that level. The second time, as I was, you know, feeling like, you know, I was lifting or whatever, I had the thought of getting a crystal, a grounding crystal, because the first time I didn't have a crystal or any. I think I had like selenite or something that was like one of my spiritual crystals, like this blue apatite. Yeah, that's what it's called, blue apatite, which helps you connect with spirit and things like that. Crystals that are like blue, cooler colors, like the crystals that are the same colors as your higher chakras. I'm going to make another video about explaining chakras, but and crystals too. But those type of crystals, chakras, help you elevate. They don't help you ground yourself. So the second time I felt like I was, you know, lifting off, I had the thought like, oh, I should, you know, grab a crystal to help, you know, help myself feel grounded. And so, you know, I opened my eyes, went to go look for a crystal, try to get back to that state, and no, couldn't get to that point anymore until today. Hold up, let me channel Beyonce real quick. I mean, not Beyonce, but. So right now, as I'm filming this, it is the Lionsgate portal, okay? The first time I felt that ascension type meditation feeling, whatever, I believe it was during the Lionsgate portal of 2020. It is now 2021, and today I was meditating and I felt it. And I had my black tourmaline, so I was still grounded, and I felt, you know, like I was lifted, but I wasn't too, you know, to the point where I like felt like I was like lifting off, you know. And it was blissful. It was blissful, peaceful. And I believe that meditation is vital, and it's key to your spiritual journey and to knowing yourself, knowing thyself, telling you. If you say meditation is not for you, just try it for 7 days. Just try it. What? It's not going to hurt you. Apart from meditation, practicing stillness. So I read this in a book called Spirit Translator by, where's she at? By Diana Cole. Spirit Translator by Diana Cole. There's a passage that said, learning a true quieting of your mind will help you to reconnect with all the versions of yourself that you have been, who you are now, and who you will be in the future, so that you can stand on solid footing. And that inner calmness creates a spaciousness for you to explore. And I believe that 100%. Because when you're quiet enough or still enough within yourself, despite all the busy noise and, you know, distractions in the background and all that, you'll get these glimpses of your past, of your shadow self, or of your inner child, or, you know, just flashbacks of the past, of different versions of you. And you have the chance to, or the opportunity to, really self-reflect and see the progress of your growth, of who you used to be, which is still who, you know, who's still a part of you, and who you are now. And just from being able to see that and notice that progress, you'll be able to make an even more impactful or influence on your future self. So practicing stillness allows you to connect with self, all versions of yourself, your past self, your shadow self, your future self, your higher self. This is so important. There's so many people that aren't doing the inner work, and they're just doing what they think they're supposed to do. They're portraying the image that others are expecting of them, and then at the end of the day, they're drained or they're not happy. This is the beginning, especially with the world, how it is right now. I don't know if you guys heard of the new earth or the fifth dimension. Know thyself. Practicing stillness, meditation, these are just some of the keys to access the entrance or the portals to the new earth, to the fifth dimension. Another effective way to know thyself is journaling. Writing your thoughts, your dreams, and the things that you're grateful for into a journal could help tremendously. Okay, not only are you speaking to your subconscious when you're writing, like your affirmations, or like, you know, when you're manifesting your desires, because that's like reprogramming your mind. Not only are you doing that, but months from now, years from now, when you look back at your journal, you see the progress, you see the spiritual growth, you see how far you've came, you know, and that again is like seeing or connecting with different versions of yourself. Okay, you'll be able to keep track of your pace, how slow or how quick your growth is, so that you can make adjustments, you know. And then praying or connecting with your spirit team. Ask for guidance. Ask for clarity. We all have a spirit team, okay? We all have ancestors, spirit guides, guardian angels, archangels. We all have God to talk to, or gods, depending on whatever, depending on whoever you choose, right? We have a spirit team. We have star family, galactic star family, star seeds, and you know what I'm talking about. We have beings or entities or energies beyond the veil that can help us, or beyond or in higher dimensions that we can't see, to help us in, you know, in our spiritual growth, help us answer some questions that we need answers to. And because of our free will, our spirit team can't just jump in whenever they want. They can't just help whenever they want. We have to ask and you shall receive, right? And I know, yes, like sometimes you get into some stuff and then you know that you've been protected and you probably didn't ask for it, but you probably did. Or, you know, maybe your family members, like, or maybe your ancestors from a long time ago asked for protection over the generations to come. Continue asking and praying, and even invoking your higher self. Like, your higher self is very powerful, and you can communicate with your higher self. I'm gonna save that for another video, because I can go on and on, and I'm trying to keep this video under an hour, because I need y'all to stay with me. Okay, learning about God is also learning about ourselves. We are all different versions and aspects of God. And so when you know thyself, you know God. And to know God is to learn about God. And to learn about God is to love God. So when you know yourself, or when you're getting to know yourself, you're getting to know God, because God is within you. God is not apart from you. Okay, hold up, let me make a disclaimer. I don't mess with lower vibrational entities, beings, and things like that. Okay, get that straight. Okay, I pray to Archangel Michael and only the highest beings and highest angels of love and light. Okay, when you're learning about yourself, you're learning about God. And when you're learning about God, you're learning about yourself. So to know God is to learn about God. To learn about God is to love God. Therefore, to know thyself is to love thyself. Be kind to thyself. Be kind to yourself and to others. It's okay to be gentle with yourself, especially when you're on the path of self-discovery. You're gonna face like inner child issues where, like, you know, like those flashbacks where embarrassing moments or like traumatic experiences, things like that. Be kind to yourself and love yourself. Be the parent that you wish you had to yourself. But yeah, that requires a lot of patience, understanding, love, and kindness. I'm sending you guys the highest frequencies of love and light. I thank you so much for watching my video. If you made it all the way to the end, I thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you. If you watch my first video on YouTube and you watch this one, I'm pretty sure you'll see the difference in energy. I'm glad to be here. Thanks, guys. Sending lots of love and light. Until next time. Bye.